and gain our knowledge and power, we turn to the no bullshit hour.
Let's just do breaking news. No more bullshit. No more bullshit.
No bullshit.
It's over. I'm like Chris Cuomo coming out of the basement. COVID's over. Ah!
If you're Chris Cuomo, take that shirt off.
Ah! Oh, I got the COVID belly, bro. I've been drinking some beer.
No, that's my excuse, too.
I've been looking up videos how to get rid of this tire. I never had one. Fuck it.
You'll never get rid of it.
I'm like Chris Cuomo, man. I come out of the remember that fake shit?
Oh, yeah.
I'm coming up out of the stairs. I've been down there for 2 weeks, except I was caught bicycling in the Hamptons just yesterday. Fake ass.
Wasn't he arguing with the neighbor, too, when he was supposed to?
Yeah, meathead. Him and his brother, man. You're done. Fake news, Cuomo guys. God. I'll tell you why it's over, because I went to D.C. Okay, I had COVID. COVID's real. Maurice Davis is with us, City Councilman, 2nd Ward of Flint. He had it. Oh, that's my phone.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Breaking news?
Ooh, it's Super Cop. We're going to be talking about cops. We're going to be talking about George Floyd. We got Ira Todd, the most historic interrogator for Detroit Police Department. He himself was on trial in the mid-90s for murder on the job. Mm-hmm. So that's real perspective. You don't get a guy like this just coming on fake Cuomo. It's no bullshit. That's who's on. Maurice Davis going to be with us talking about the 7-year anniversary of Flint is tomorrow. Wow. What's changed? Did they get justice? What's up with these settlements? Where is everybody? And then they're, hey, Red.
Yo!
What the fuck? You're supposed to be sitting across from me, brother.
Listen. I know I'm running late, but I can report some breaking news.
Oh.
I just drove by the new Wayne County jail site, and that son bitch ain't no further along than it was almost 6 months ago. So there you go. I served a purpose.
And I tell you what, that's a good piece of reporting, because when we're talking about reimagining policing in the criminal justice system, the biggest public works project going on in the state is a fucking oversized jail.
Not only is that a good piece of reporting, that is a good deflection as to the fact that why you're in the car right now when you're supposed to be here.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Appreciate that.
I'm commending you.
Charlie Smith.
Gonna shave your head. Remember last time you didn't?
No.
Very unprofessional.
No.
But that's what we got today. We got Flint. We got in Detroit. Here's a statistic for you. In the last 2 years, shootings are up nearly 100%. To be exact, 85%. In the non-COVID year, from 2019 to 20, April to April, it went up 45%. From this time last year to now, it's up another 40%. We had 3 mass shootings over the weekend. A quadruple, a quintuple, and an octuple. And the Detroit police took the lives of 2 people. What's going on? Why isn't this being reported? Put that back on. I like that. I'm getting all lathered up. It's a mess. Fix the shit. This is the real news. Now, I'm here. I'm Cuomo again. Here we go. COVID, it's over. It's not really over. It's a dangerous thing. But I go to Charlotte International Airport to get to D.C. Thousands of people stacked on each other. Mm-hmm. I mean, I felt like Rip Van Winkle being from Michigan.
Any empty seats on the plane?
None. The guy next to me, there's no space in between. They're serving coffee, people taking the mask down. Like the whole country's moving.
It's over, yeah.
And we're not. And look, here's the thing. When people start moving, doesn't matter if you lock away, it's going to get here, and it's here. And now we're moving around and putting it there. Mm-hmm. And the governor decided to go see your daddy in Florida last month. That was from us. We did the right thing, got word of it, researched it out, got a hold of the governor's people, and they pulled the same trick, which is they give it to a friendly outlet, one that's gonna, soften it up. But it came from this basement. Same with her director who went down to Margaritaville. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you talk to us or not. The facts are the facts, and we do it correctly. We give you a chance to answer. We still haven't gotten the answer. We're going to bring you all that.
Those that friendly outlet came to bite her in the ass too.
Ooh, all that. Okay. But first, I'm going to do my rant, which is brought to you by American Coney Island, Detroit's oldest family-owned restaurant. Esquire named it one of the 100 restaurants we cannot afford to lose because that's part of our souls. So go down to the corner of Michigan and Lafayette. Delicious. Go to AmericanConeyIsland.com. Get a Coney kit to your house if you still don't exactly want to rotate, and I can understand why. Not a denialist. Not a Republican. Not a Democrat. I'm your brother. Mark's your brother. Maurice is your brother. Ira's definitely your brother. And Red is late as fuck.
Look at the shame in his
Breaking news story. First time ever NBN News traffic report. If you're coming up I-75 North, get the fuck off before Davidson, because if not, you're going to run into some shit that's going to make you later, and your boss going to end up talking more shit to you live on the air. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you for that report, Red. So listen, if you could ascertain for me where exactly I-75 is closed off, because you get off the 8 Mile to 696, it's all fucked up, and you're driving through Hazeltucky, bro. I'm all over.
And now, now they got it down to 2 lanes, going down to 2 lanes at Davidson Freeway.
Now listen,
headed north.
When you hit 8 Mile, my brother, you know what to do. Hands on the wheel. Nothing hanging from the rear view. 5 miles an hour under the limit. All right? All right. Okay, folks. Gretchen Whitmer is finding out the hard way what happens when you surround yourself with pillow fluffers and hipsters in brown leather shoes. When there's nobody competent to tell you no, you'll eventually be exposed as incompetent or worse, a hypocrite. The unvaxxed governor, as we all now know, flew to Florida in the midst of a pandemic to visit her father. When the truth arrives, and it always does, instead of a straightforward answer, the governor's handlers draft opaque excuses that only serve to further enrage the public, people whose lives and businesses and children have been turned upside down by the pandemic and her shifting responses to it. When I asked Governor Whitmer's press people Monday if she had recently flown down to Florida, those advisors scrambled to whip up a half-baked dung pie of nonspecifics. Then they released it to the general media. I had to read the answers to my own questions in someone else's report, and I don't care, because it's knowledge and truth that makes a democracy run. So as long as it's out, I'm cool. I'm just telling you. So while those advisors confirm Whitmer's out-of-state trip to see her ailing father, Dick, down in West Palm Beach, they would not specify when she went to Florida, whether she went there at all, or on whose plane she flew, and we still don't know. This is what they wrote to me. Due to ongoing security concerns, we will not comment further on the governor's personal schedule.
Convenient.
That is bizarre. And it should annoy you, whether you love her or not. Right? Mm-hmm. We hold Trump to the fire. Yeah. We hold Whitmer to the fire. We hold Schwarzenegger to the fire. Giuliani. That's what we do in a democracy. No fanboydom. That's the exact answer I got last week, folks. Remember when I asked if the state's top health official, Elizabeth Hertel, right? Mm-hmm. If she had beat it down to Margaritaville for spring break while the virus raged here in Michigan. Guess what they said then? We did not discuss the director's personal schedule.
How convenient.
Same answer.
Yeah, conveniency. Mm-hmm.
Remember, this was at the same time the governor was lecturing her subjects in Michigan to avoid spring break in Florida because of the raging UK variant there. Look, in a time of crisis, leaders lead. When you're caught, you tell the truth. I stay home, you stay home. You don't shop for milquetoast interviews with Cable Ken and Broadcast Barbie. You don't do it. You don't blame the Supreme Court or the state legislature for taking your tools, which you still have. Leadership comes by example. If you ask the people to stay put yourself. You remember those of us who could not hold our brother's hand as he died in an isolated room. You remember those of us who weren't allowed to attend a funeral. That's what a real leader does. Mm-hmm. Come on. I wanted it when my brother died. I didn't go in my mother's house.
Yeah.
I was in the garage, being respectful of things.
Yep. If the leaders are going to follow their own rules, why would anybody else?
And what's the science and protocol tell you? You should be vaccinated minimum. And you weren't.
She wasn't, yeah.
Because you did the stunt where you went on TV in April and did
Ford Field, yeah.
So when did you go down there? For how long? Where exactly? And on whose airplane did you fly?
Great questions.
Simple question.
But they won't discuss it. They'll find a reason as to why they won't. We're not allowed to discuss that because we don't want to.
Okay, look, I'm going to bring Ira Todd in here. There's a lot of news this week. George Floyd, right? And Derek Chauvin was found guilty on 3 charges, including second-degree murder, right? Dante Wright in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, right, was shot on a traffic stop. Adam Toledo in Chicago, 13-year-old, was running with a gun, came out without the gun, shot. Ma'Khia Bryant, 16, Columbus, Ohio, right? Just got a knife, police shoots her. We really got to talk about this. So we're going to bring in Ira Todd. Let me just say this. Very deep. And please, Maurice, join us as you see fit, brother. How you been?
Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Now, this is brought to you by Hall Financial. If you feel good about your interest rates because it's in the 3s, get over it and call Hall Financial because, maybe you can get something lower. Things are moving. See what your options are. Be smart, make the call because you could be saving money. Hall Financial is fast, and they do all the heavy lifting. They get everything done for you, appraisal, the realtor, all that, one-stop shopping. At least check them out. Go to hallfinancial.com or call 248-308-5000, right? Get started, get it done now. Put it on your fridge.
Beautiful.
Hey, Ira, how are you, brother? How you feeling?
Good, Charlie. How you doing, man?
Good, man. By way of quick background, how many years did you have on the Detroit Police Force?
34 and a half.
You're a kid from the neighborhood.
Yep. 12th Street. Born and raised.
The tough part. You were raised in the tough part.
Yeah. I was in the tough part of the city, but it was still a good part of the city,
Well said. And so in the career, you're on Gang Squad. What happens? You shot a guy that was unarmed, it turns out, and you go on trial and you're acquitted. So you've lived this part of policing.
Oh, yeah. I went through the whole ordeal, man, where you got to deal with the whole thing with killing somebody, first of all, taking a human being's life, and then dealing with the fact that you make the right decision or not, and then also dealing with the fact that you may be charged with a crime that could send you to jail for the rest of your life. So, it was kind of personal to me watching this whole thing go down. I watched the trial, I watched the defense put on their show and the prosecutor put on theirs. And, it was a horrible situation for both parties, but I could empathize a little bit with the officer because I'm just looking at the human side of it. And I don't know, man, I don't even know if he's dealt with the reality that he actually killed this man. And, I watched him get handcuffed and almost become, unglued right there in front of the cameras and everything. You could just tell this thing was traumatic for everybody, the whole world.
You watched it. Was it murder?
Oh, yeah, definitely murder. It was murder. Was it intentional? I don't think it was intentional, but it was definitely murder.
Let's do this for the audience. First-degree murder means premeditation, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Second-degree murder means you did it. Heat of the moment, passion, life just, it came at you.
And it could be implied intent. It's like, for instance, that, the way I understand it. But if I hit you with a rubber hose, a possibility you won't die for that, but I'll hit you in the head with a metal pipe, you could die. So that's an implied intent, that you knew if I hit you in the head with this pipe, you'll possibly die from it. So second degree could be something like that.
And manslaughter it's either accidental or you were behaving in a reckless way, which you should have known better. This could have caused death, right?
Correct. Yes.
So this was correct. This was second degree murder, in my opinion. In fact, it's official now.
Mm-hmm. He's a murderer.
Oh, yeah. I think it was open murder. I think definitely, this guy, he did a lot of things wrong, and he did a lot of things wrong, and he knew it's murder. He had no other choice but to fight. What else could he do? Think about it. They're not going to let him plea out, probably. And everybody, the world wanted to know, or have an explanation for what he had done. And they wanted to see exactly what happened because the media had, blew all this up and not saying they did a wrong job by doing it. I think it's something that should have been blown up. But for the most part, this guy had no choice but just to face, the music. He screwed up. And I had some people even say to me, what you mean screwed up? He killed a man. But that's what I mean. He screwed. I don't think he intentionally tried to kill that man. But sometimes cops' mistakes, they become fake.
I do feel like we see all these videos and they do get lumped together. But the one thing with Derek Chauvin, George Floyd, is the 9 minutes where he could have stopped once he was detained. Is that how you see it too, Ira? And then the other ones are snap judgment shootings.
No, I think you're 100% right. It was just that whole thing. And even after he passed out and collapsed, I watched the video multiple times, and I even saw George Floyd's head turn dark, like blood was rushing to his head. You just know what's going on. If you've been a cop that long, you see when things are happening to people, when they're passing out or they're dying or things like that. He knew. I'm telling you, he's on top of this man. He knew this guy was passing out, collapsing, or something was changing in his body. And at that point, he should have got up. Now I understand you have to escalate, but you have to de-escalate too. And we all done it. Let's get real. I'm an old school cop. I done threw guys on the ground and had to pin them down and to get them, under control.
But I'm looking at the video now, Ira. Ira, I'm looking at the video now here, right?
Yes.
He's not resisting no more. He's not moving. Isn't it time?
No. He's trying to live, man. If you ever seen somebody like that, they're trying to live. I've seen guys try to fight you, but they're not trying to fight to get out of cuffs. They're trying to fight because they're trying to breathe, or something's hurting on them. He's trying to live, and this officer knows that. They all know that this guy, what they're doing to him, they know it's wrong. They know it's wrong. They went too far. Yeah. And it's something they had to be comfortable with doing in front of people. They must have done it before. And I'm not trying to pass judgment because I'm a cop. I'm going to stand up for cops if I can. But this is something right here that it's horrible. It's horrible. He killed that man.
Ira, does it bother you when you see the Ma'Khia Bryant shooting and it gets lumped together with this particular incident?
The 16-year-old in Ohio.
In Ohio with the knife.
Yeah, it does. I think all of them. Even the young man, Wright, who got shot by the officer, the taser incident, and things like that. It bothers me when you hear people say, "It's no way in the hell that she couldn't have known that wasn't a taser or a gun." But when you're in those kind of situations, and I'm not justifying what she did at all, I know that was an accident. You can even hear it in her voice, her expressions, everything else. She told my partner, "Oh my God," or something, "I shot him." And partner said, "You shot him?" She said, "Yes." Cops are human. Cops make mistakes. I'm not saying that there should be better training. There should be repercussions for those mistakes and things like that. But we got to start understanding that we're human too.
I have to bring this up because I look at that one and I'm thinking, I think she's gonna be acquitted. I mean, look, I've had my ass beat by cops a couple times in my life. You get pulled over, you got a warrant out for your arrest for a weapons charge. Mm-hmm. The police know that. They bring you out of the car, and then you dive into the car. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm a cop, I've been out with cops a lot of times. You would fear for your life. You would. I never do that kind of shit. Hands up on the wheel. Yes, sir. No, sir. I want to get home.
And that's why I'm saying there's a human side to all of this, because You're 100% right. But see, some people react to police officers like they do if you threw me in some water. I'd panic like that in some water. I can't swim, so I don't understand what might be going on. This young guy panicked, and he shouldn't. He should have did exactly what the officer said. But in the same token, that officer is trained to those kind of things, and you have to keep a cool head.
I'm gonna bet you no. I'm gonna bet you, from what I hear, this is a lot of desk time for this officer. What's her name? Potter?
Yeah, Kim.
Kim Potter. A lot of desk time. I don't think there's a lot of muscle memory to, I don't think she's seen that a lot of times. I know Detroit police see that a lot.
Yeah, but that come over the years. That come throughout experience and through some of your experiences in gun battles and things like that, or fighting with people all the time. You learn these nonverbal behaviors that you see people do when they jumping or they get ready to run or something like that. It's all about experience. It's all about from where you come from too. People are afraid out here. You got a lot of these cops that's coming from different places, and they are afraid of the people they are policing. Let's just be real about it.
So what you're saying is you've got white cops from the countryside and the suburbs policing the black city, and they got the boogeyman thing in their head, and it is a violent city, and that's a bad recipe?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But think about it. If you work and live in the same community, you get to understand everybody in that community. They become part of your family. They know the officers. I used to walk a beat in the 14th precinct. We got free food from people. People will come out their houses and give you stuff. If you got into a fight by yourself, citizens will come out and help you apprehend people.
What do you mean they give you stuff?
I'm sorry.
What do you mean they give you stuff? Like
bribes?
Like the cocaine and the bribes and stuff?
No,
I'm kidding
talking like people will give you muffins or people will make you cakes. If you ever worked in the 10th precinct, you get fat in the 10th precinct. I gained 30 pounds in the 10th precinct because people would come up to the precinct and bring food up there because they love the police. And we would barbecue in the back with people in the neighborhoods and things like that. We were part of the community. And that's what it's all about.
So let me ask you this. In the current climate with what's going on, with all the mistrust from the neighborhood with the police, do you think bringing that type of stuff back would be effective? Or is it other things that they could do?
I think it's a lot of things. I think the biggest thing you need to do, you need communication. And we need to communicate two different things. I really think we need to make people understand that you give law enforcement officers the authority to go out there and do what you pay them to do, and that's protect you, okay? You want them to enforce the law. That's why you call them law enforcement officers, okay? But you have to educate the public too, I believe, and say, hey, look here, guys, you can't be snatching away. You can't be doing crazy things when you're getting pulled over.
Right.
Not to say you don't have
Hold
the
on a
right
second,
to
boys.
do all
Hold
of
on.
that.
I got Super Cop on the phone. What's going on?
Yeah, but not to say you don't have the right to do all of that. It's just saying that you have to be aware of all of that.
Yes, they were responding to a guy stabbing himself, and then what happened?
Both ways. Respect both ways. And officers are just human beings out there really trying to do a good job, and we getting a bad name like that.
Yep.
Right.
I think Charlie is getting.
I'm gonna say. Let me ask you this: do you think that there is a possibility to introduce more non-lethal weapons into the mix? Would that help cut down on a lot of what's going on?
No, I don't think so. I think you shouldn't even have to have weapons. If people respect the law, if an officer asks you to do something, why not do it? That's what you paid him to enforce the law. I don't think it's about fear and anger or pulling guns on each other or we need bigger guns and things like that. It's not going to help. You got to communicate.
Red,
Everybody out here they're human. Everybody's out here trying to survive. Everybody out here, they're afraid. They're angry. They got a bunch of rage going on right now.
It ain't no fucking bread out there, man. Ain't no bread. Red, what do you make of what happened in Columbus, Ohio? Because you were in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, actually, I was down there the other night for a show, and let me say, there was not no big, I'm sure they were protesting, but I didn't see anything where I was. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be honest, it's tragic that the young lady is gone, but I'm really more upset with the neighbors and the community. The police officer made a snap decision. He's trying to save a life. And I mean, I've seen people say, you know, I did a live about it. Hey, he could have used a taser. Well, I'm not a trained police officer, but I know a taser in that situation may not have saved that girl's life. And this young lady had a butcher knife, mind you. If you look at the video, that's not no standard knife. That look like a butcher knife out the kitchen that can do bad damage. Just going in, it can cut an artery. So, like you said, the bad situations. We cannot keep putting ourselves in an opportunity to end up like this young lady.
I would love to hear from the girl in pink too, the one who was on the other side of the knife, who was about to be stabbed. Do you guys think she'll ever come forward? Because I
think she should be charged.
What are we even doing with that? I don't want to speculate on what the chick in the fucking pink thinks.
What I'm saying is
part of the story.
I do want to say this because we don't have all the facts, but apparently this started from an altercation. Some young ladies came to her house. The police was then called. In the end of the day, they are all responsible to a degree because this altercation led to this situation. The officer himself, I feel, made a snap decision to save a life. Sadly, we lost a young life.
Amen.
But he had to make a decision. And if it was my son or daughter, consequences be after he saved their life, I got to take that. And if, you know.
Are we jumping? You spent 34 years out there, Ira, like deep, real life shit that nobody can imagine. People don't understand what force continuum even means. Mm-hmm. Do you think video has really changed everything, that we're making snap judgments?
I think that's the whole problem. Everybody's got this opinion about this little, few seconds of video that they see, and all of a sudden they want to be judge and jury. And I don't think what people really realize, there's a lot of parts to the investigation and different angles, different perspectives. You don't know what the officer was feeling. You don't know what the witnesses were feeling. There's a lot of things that's going on right now, and I think that's some of the problem. We got everything lumped in one group. If a cop kills somebody, everybody's angry and mad, and it's the new trend right now. We got to blame somebody for our anger and rage and, poverty and everything that's going wrong with this world right now. And the closest people to us with a uniform is officers. So everybody's got a spotlight on us, But
it's the only government that answers you.
Right.
You call everybody. Do me a favor. Call your congressperson, see if you get a call back. Call your mayor, see. Call the senator. See,
exactly.
Society's so messed up. It's so broke.
And if you want good cops, you need good human beings. So if you want to put somebody in charge of enforcing law, protecting citizens, and doing things like that, why don't you give them good salaries and give them decent hours? Why would you give somebody a gun and badge, work them 16 hours a day, then they got to go to court on the off time, then they work in double shifts, straight like 7 days, 14 days straight and things like that. And they're not just pushing pencils and things like that. They're out there.
It's a time bomb.
Shot at.
It's a time bomb.
Jumping in and out of cars and things like that. People don't realize that's a stressful job. And nobody really take law enforcement serious. The only part they take serious is when they want to punish a cop. That's what they take serious.
And let me do this. Let me do this,
Ira.
Ira.
Talk about shooting people is when cops shoot people.
Let me do this.
But it's like, we got to fix this whole problem with this whole thing.
And let me listen. White people. I want everybody to listen about white people. This is how it breaks down with death by cop. 50% of all the death by cops are white people. 20% are brown people, Latinos, and 30% are black people. So whites and Latinos, for the proportion of the population, that's about right. Blacks, it's 2.5 times more likely than whites. But the point is, what kind of people? White people, black people, brown people. It's the poor. Studies show it. The poorer you are, the rowdier you get. The rowdier you get, the police show up. So why are we doing this racial division? This is a good time for white people to let black people lead and then voice their own anger about what's going on.
Let me ask this question. Why in the city of Detroit, if we raid a drug house, and you know there's different people raiding different drug houses, but if you raid a small drug house with some dope in it, you go in there, you throw everybody to the floor, you do all the crazy stuff, you tear up the house, you pull drawers out, you do all the crazy stuff. You go raid a dope dealer's house in the suburbs, and you're pulling drawers out and putting things back neatly, and you got people sitting on the couch, and you're not. Why is it such a difference? And you know what the difference is. You know exactly what the difference is. Let's just be real about it.
What is the difference?
They treat people of color different. Everybody treat people of color different. Everybody.
Then how do you explain that 50% of all deaths by cops' hands are white people?
Yeah, but it's a lot more white people in the country.
For sure.
There's a lot, so.
But
I mean,
what kind of white people is what I'm saying? There's a economic equality here. Like there's something to be done because it ain't rich people dying by the hand of the cops.
That's what I'm saying. It's poor people.
Right.
Everything is happening to the poor. And that's my whole point. It's like, okay, why are we so afraid of poor people? Why do our light bulb or our alerts go up when we go into certain neighborhood with poor people? You act like you walk away from like you're afraid and things like that. And these are people just trying to survive. And it's like we just treat people differently when they look differently. And it's ridiculous.
Well, doesn't that go back to the systemic part of all of this? Isn't that kind of been a mantra in the police force for so many decades?
I think it's learned behavior. I think it's generational of learned behavior. I think I learned some bad habits from some old cops and vice versa. I mean, they learned some bad habits from some older cops and things like that. When you become a cop, you go in and say you're going to make a difference, but sometimes you will pick up some bad habits. Sometimes you will become that bully, but you got to understand sometimes the elements make you the bully too. So it's like you learn these things, but people can relearn this stuff and they do it all the time. I'm telling you, in our police department, in Detroit Police Department, I'm gone now, but before I left, I could tell they had become a kinder, gentler police department. They had a lot more respect and everything else. And they didn't rule with the iron fist like we did, some of the older cops like I did, and the cops before me.
Now, this is a good place for me to put this in. The super cop just called me. And Maurice, please feel free because you're up in Flint, which is, what, 2/3 black, 1/3 white? Violent crimes through the roof, and there's not a damn thing you could do about it. There's no money.
Not at all.
So what's the plan?
Well, the plan ain't no money. You just said it. It's high drugs. And like the former officer just stated, this here is everybody here, the young folks is now into buying these Dracos. They don't want phones and the musician type stuff. They need weapons. Their life skill is surviving day to day. And that's what's going on. And you're seeing it all over the country. The anger, the hatred is growing. And if we don't pull it in, we're in a bad space as a nation.
That's it. That's the systematic shit of it. Like the poor can't get out. The poor's getting poorer and angry of all stripes. Blacks just catch the shit end of the stick in this country by any measurement. That's a long systematic business. But there's other systematic stuff going on. Money.
Well, when it was never even from the beginning, and it continues, on one end you giving this group a little something, but the other group is still growing 2 to 3 times faster. So the system has never really been leveled out. The playing field has never been leveled for the black American versus the white American, in my opinion. It's always fight to get where you should be. And in the process, the economics of it, the rich are steadily getting richer. You steadily just trying to survive day to day. So the playing field is constantly against you, in my opinion.
And building your gates. You cannot build gates high enough to keep the rabble out. We all know what's going on. Everybody feels we're on edge here. And it's more than just video on TV.
Right.
It's the pocketbook as well. Here, Super Cop called me. The Detroit police, sandwiched in between the Chauvin verdict, killed two citizens, right?
Right.
Bad situations. Here's Super Cop called me. The second day, this after the Chauvin, they respond to a guy's all high and distraught and shit, and his mother calls, and he's stabbing himself. The police arrive, and he's sleeping in the bathtub. He's kind of passed out in the bathtub. They go to get him. He wakes up. He stabs one of the cops, then jumps on him,
The partner pulls out his weapon, shoots the guy, and shoots his partner. Okay, two things. They both have less than 5 years experience. Half the Detroit Police Department's got less than 5 years experience. A real problem. You need more than 2 guys going. Also, remember the bullshit news. You're all being stirred up. We're going to do better. We're going to send mental health experts with the police. Remember that? We got the big press conference.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the mayor and the chief of police? Okay. First of all, what are you going to do? Have that guy talk about his childhood and put him on a couch and stuff? Right. Now the psychologist is going to get stabbed to death. But here's the thing. There wasn't no psychologist that went with him. Where is this great program? See?
What has changed?
Nothing. They react. They give us a bunch of bullshit, and it ends up not being true.
And promises that they can't afford. That's what I'm going to say. Promises they can't afford, because if we don't have enough money for police officers and the proper equipment and a decent network and all the goodies and bells and whistles of that, where are you going to get money at to send a psych person out on each call?
Ira, going back to the Chauvin verdict, heard a lot of people talk like this is a moment that will change everything. It's a relief moment, but this is a sign that things are changing. How do you feel about those comments?
I think there's some truth to it. I think people are becoming a little bit more aware of what's going on. I think people are ignoring what was going on before. I think people knew what was going on the whole time, but they just kind of ignored it. It wasn't happening to me. I'm not really going to care about all of this. But I think because it just went all over the world and everybody saw exactly what happened, I think it's going to make people really pay attention to what's going on with law enforcement these days.
Let me do this, though, over here in Detroit. I mean, look, we went off the air last Friday, and there's a quadruple shooting at a vigil for a guy that got shot. Happens every year, right? Then the next day over by you on Bewick.
Yep.
Dude, what, 5 people?
5 people. One was accident. What was it? One dead, 4 wounded. And then somebody came back through the scene and started.
No, that's another.
That's a different one.
That's the next one.
Yeah, there's so much going on.
Okay, then Sunday night, right, there's another vigil for somebody that got shot dead in 2016. They hold it every year. It's a traveling vigil. So the police should know about it. Right? It gets shot up every year. So, breaking news, you don't got to do the DTD. It wasn't 5 people shot, folks. Media, you got to follow up. It was 8 people shot. It's a mass shooting.
Wow.
They're not even making any news.
Right.
Then they try to get away and hit an innocent bystander and kill him.
Right.
Okay? Then another dude, the cops don't have the experience to clear the scene. Because now the neighborhood gathers. And people the cops on the scene tell me this. Boom boxes, they're drinking. It's a goddamn show out there. And one dude peeps the supervisor, a young supervisor, and says, "Hey, motherfucker, remember you locked me up last year?" He goes, "What?" And it turns into like this altercation. Cop sends him on his way. Like Ira would, we were talking last night, Ira would send a guy to make sure he goes away.
Right.
He goes and drinks, then gets in his car, comes back, drives by, tries to shoot the cop. And then it's a high-speed chase across Detroit, and they shoot him dead on the east side. Doesn't this tell you something, Ira? How is it you can have a party at 3 in the morning and 8 people are shot, and there's no police around?
Because they're probably somewhere else fighting some crime somewhere else. I'm telling you, law enforcement is overwhelmed right now. It's over, and it's been overwhelmed for a long time. I mean, I left the job, and I'm telling you, I gave my last drop, and I was burnt out. And you got cops still on the job now trying to hold on, trying to do their best, but they're burnt out, they're tired, and they have, like, not many resources. And some of the resources they need is more manpower.
So, Ira, I just want to make sure right quick. You're saying that this started well before COVID, because COVID has been the new scapegoat for everything as of late.
But 75 years, there's been shootings like that happen all over the country, not just the city of Detroit. If you really think about it. We used to have Operation Crackdown Wraparound. We used to have so many shootings. We created a shooting curtailment team. You know, this is the trend of things that go up and down. Even hating cops, sometimes they hate us, sometimes they love us. It's a trend that go up and down all the time.
And let me give you the stat. Ira. because this is the truth. Like, what the fuck is the mayor actually doing, and what do you got to run on? Because shootings in the year before COVID, 2019, April 10th, 2019 to April 10th, 2020, shootings went up 45%. Right? That's not COVID. That's what was really going on. And now during the lockdown from April 2020 to 2021, it's up another 40%. That's 85, almost 100%.
Yeah.
We are the most violent city. We don't have police. We're not paying them, like Maurice is saying, like we're all saying. So
and then think about this. The ones who have to go out there and do the jobs, now they got to go out there with their hands tied, because if they make one mistake, and I'm not talking about a big mistake like killing somebody, but they do something else on camera or something, trying to protect themselves or trying to get control of a situation, they're going to be criticized or they're going to be judged. And it's like, what do you guys want cops to do? You want us to be badasses or you want us to be punks? And let's get real about it. Do you want somebody out there protecting you and dealing with crime, and you want to pay them, train them, and give them the resources they need and the manpower they need to do it? Or are we all going to just sit back and every time something go wrong, we keep pointing the finger at law enforcement when we pay for stadiums? You know, we pay billionaires, give them money to build stadiums. We bail out companies. Why can't we put money into law enforcement, into human beings that's willing to go out there and protect society? Why can't we produce a good police officer at the same time while you're developing a good human being too?
let's,
This ain't rocket science. We all human beings out here, and they should stop criticizing cops and the police department and start saying, hey, look here, what can we do to help them?
I think
that's what we need. We need you guys to help us.
Let's criticize them so we understand the deep problems and actually get to a solution, because I'm tired of hearing platitudes and empty words.
Yeah.
They need retraining.
Yes.
What's that even mean? You don't even know what their training is.
They don't have a plan.
And what about one more
But
thing?
why aren't we-
Psychological help for police.
Yeah.
We're saying, hey, look here, guys. Why aren't we up in Congress saying, hey, look here, we need more protection for officers and citizens, not just citizens, officers too, because they are our citizens too. You know, when they go to jail, they leave families behind, just like everybody else. And some of these officers going to jail aren't bad people. They may have done some bad things. I'm not talking about this Chauvin thing. This is a thing that's totally different than anything else. But I'm talking about some of these shootings. These aren't bad people. These are good people who happen to do a bad thing or made a mistake. And I know it's a hell of a mistake, because I would hate for one of my kids who did get killed like that, or grandkids or something like that. But you got to understand, these people are human too. And 90%, I believe, of cops going out there to work, they going out there because we want to do good. I did 35 years of not just putting people in jail. I did 35 years of getting people out of jail. It's cops that really want to do well out there, but we don't have support from the citizens.
Let me do this.
Go out there and let's start. When a cop get killed, you get a little blurt and something like that. But we out there fighting.
He's feeling it
for everybody.
No, he's feeling it, because here's what I'm hearing, Ira, and we're gonna leave it at this. I'm gonna let you go after this.
Okay.
And I want it to just resonate here. I'm gonna ask you something deep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How bad did that damage you when you took an unarmed man's life? Do you think that gave you cancer? Do you think God? Have you ever gotten over it?
Let me tell you this. It damaged me so bad that when Chauvin got sentenced, I watched right before his sentencing, before he read his verdict, I watched his chest rise and how he was breathing. I felt that same anxiety I felt over 20-something years ago. You never forget it. And people don't realize that you are human. When you take a life, I don't care how bad, how macho. I was one of the baddest, machoest, cocky, big ego cops you ever want to see in your life. But when you take another human being's life, you lose a part of yours. And it damages you forever. I want you to believe that. It's not a day in my life that I don't think about Jose El Dorado. It's not a day in my life I didn't pray that God saved his soul because I took his life. It's not a day in my life I didn't think that I got cancer to shorten my life because I'd shortened another man's life. People don't realize you carry these burdens with you. We cops, we human. You know, when we make mistakes, don't you think for a minute we don't pay for them before a jury decides we pay for them. You pay for them in every way. Your family pays for it too. So I'm not saying what he did was right or wrong. I'm just saying, look at the human side of a human being that, and I'm going to just say it bluntly, sometimes you fuck up and it's not intentional. Sometimes you do something stupid and it's not intentional. Some days you have a bad day. And if you're a cop on that bad day and you take somebody's life, I mean, it changes your life for the rest of your life. I mean, it's. I don't think Chauvin is sitting back in the jail cell saying, I'm glad I killed that guy. I'm glad I'm in this situation. I bet he wish he could turn everything around. And even though he had that smug look on his face, we don't even know if that was a smug look or was that man in some sort of zone. I'm not taking up for him, but all I'm saying is I've been there when you say, oh, shit. When they told me, hey, he didn't have a gun, and I thought that guy had a gun, I said, oh, shit, in my head, because I knew what was coming. So you got to look at the human side of these officers. I mean, you got to look at them. You know, I'm a broken old man right now. My health is not well, but I fight every day for me and for everybody else that I can. But I want you guys to realize, most of your cops out there, when they give 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of their life to law enforcement, it's because they got real heart and they really care.
What was the name of the man who you killed?
Jose Eldorado. I'll never forget his name.
Should we take
Jose Eldorado.
You want to say a few words? Make a little remembrance of him?
No, I don't know if that would be respectful now. I was going to write about him in my book. I'm writing a book right now. And I was going to write about him in the book, and me and the editor talked about that. Some people may not appreciate that. I'm just going to respect him and his family, you know.
I'm going to remember. We're going to take just a moment here for him and you. Just a second so everybody can think about what you just said. I want to thank you for coming, Ira, and God bless you, brother. And I'll give you a call. I hope you rebound. Huh?
I appreciate you, man. Keep fighting for the truth, man. Really.
Yeah. Thanks for being there.
I appreciate you, man. Be safe.
Wow, I don't think a lot of people realize, and that was something. I'm glad you asked him that. The effects of that, because I talk a lot of crap, but I don't see me really having to take a life. I just don't think I have it in me to take a life, and I think if I had to, it would rock me to the core.
It was a mistake.
Especially on a mistake.
He thinks God gave him cancer to equal it out.
Oh, God.
That's what it is. And again, I know probably some people going, fuck him.
And I can believe it's mistakes that can happen. But, some things is not on mistake. Some things are a mistake, and some things is human error. The problem is until the system, in my opinion, starts to really address a lot of the social issues. Yeah. Like you're saying, the economical, the mental. It's not going to change because the rotten root is still there.
The funny thing is the general system's got to change, and we got to fund the police more. It's actually kind of half. Everybody's doesn't got the whole picture, I don't think.
It's going to take money, and you have to have the will to spend it in the right spots.
Right? And the top can't be taking everything and offshore and everything. And
giving it away.
And our answer is to just print it and worry about paying it back later. What kind of world do you think the kids are going to live in?
Man, if I could have got through the first 20 years of my life with just money that was free, Jesus, I would be broke now.
Yeah, you would have, bro.
Yeah, you would have blown it.
Okay, listen. It's the 7-year anniversary of Flint tomorrow. We have King of the Party Blues, Maurice Davis, who also serves his community as the City Councilman of the 2nd Ward. A beautiful guy. This is how do you fix things? How do you fix things?
Get involved.
No, you call ADR.
Oh,
You having trouble with the government? Government not listening, government can't function. You want to be the nice guy in your business. You want to focus on business, and you got to fight the city. This is the brass knuckle guy you fight. But he's got really smooth hands, so he's not in there tearing it up. He's the one that takes the stress.
Yep.
Goes through the process and the process and the process, and he does it for you. That's what ADR consultants do.
Oh, so he's the one up late night drinking medicine for ulcers because he's taking your stress. That's how dedicated he is.
He's the one sitting there looking up the ordinance. Who am I calling? You know, how do we solve this?
Okay.
Right? How do we make room in the budget? Like, Flint, if you would have called a true consultant that was really going to do the job and not wink and nod and go along with it and say the water plant's ready to be used.
Yeah.
ADR is the kind of guy who's telling you it's not. You ought not to. That's what you get when you call him Barry Ellentuck.
Where do I call this honest, ethical man?
248-318-9424, right?
24, got it.
Just for free consultation. It sounds cheap, free consultation. Don't be afraid to call. You're having trouble, can't get the permits, zoning, variance, not, all the bullshit.
Right. Yeah. Well, I live in Detroit, so...
yeah, and in Detroit,
if he can deal with Detroit, he's my man.
Detroit, there's always some Jimmy on the side you got to pay somehow, some way, right? You can't make the profit.
Slipping Jimmy.
And Maurice Davis is brought to you by... Go ahead. Whoa! That's actually Maurice Davis right there. If you're not among the ruling elite who can make your pals' pockets fat off the taxpayers' back, if you're actually working for a living, those 16-hour shifts in a squad car, you can't get ahead. You got to get ahead. You got to think of the future. You got to provide for your retirement and theirs. And if you're a cop or a fireman, they're not giving you that health care when you retire. Another reason.
That's what they do.
Call financial specialist Luke Nowacki, 248-663-4748.
All of your investment needs.
That's right, all your investment needs. Right, Maurice? All your investment needs.
You want to call.
Annuities, retirement accounts, college savings plan, stocks, bonds. Make that call now. Your politicians and your children are dependent on you. Luke Nowacki, 248-663-4748.
I'm going to call just because they got the coolest jingle I have heard in so long on TV or radio.
I think this is a hit song on its own.
Incorporated.
Maurice Davis, how are you, sir?
Pretty good, Charlie. Pretty good.
7-year anniversary of Flint, Maurice. What's up today? Is it fixed? How's Flint? Is it fixed, the water thing?
No. Just like it was 7 years ago, if you ask me my honest opinion. Ain't nobody drinking this stuff.
What happened to all that money?
Right.
I would ask the same thing. I'm sure a lot of residents wondering the same thing, even with the settlement that was supposed to happen here for the residents.
Well, what's up with that settlement? Now it's like 640. Here's that settlement. What is it? $640 million for everybody?
$640.2 million.
Okay, break it down.
There's some rich attorneys going to be in America shortly. That's what's going to happen. The residents ain't getting a dime. They claim it's for the children, but they overlook the actual adults. So it's not fair at all. And everybody pissed about it.
So
rightfully so.
It's $200 million goes to the lawyer, $400 million for the children, and that's about, what, 15 grand apiece?
No, Lord. Because, see, you have to prove damages when water clearly went through everybody's faucet. So it was just whoever came up with this, I don't know how horrific, I don't know if the governor or from the feds, whoever constructed this, they was wrong on all levels. They mistreated this whole community, period, disrespected.
Then why did you vote for Flint to, okay, it's $20 million. Flint is on the hook for $20 million of this 640. So,
man, I'm glad you asked me that. Maybe I clear that stuff up right now. What that was, it was not for the settlement. Flint is a plaintiff, not a plaintiff, but a defendant in the lawsuit. As well as state of Michigan, they don't want Governor Gretchen Whitmire left $600 million. A hospital in Flint, Michigan called McLaren is $20 million, as well as a defendant called Flint, Michigan. we're named as defendants, and then another little firm that was sued for right at $2 million. This is what happened. Our insurance piece to protect the municipality of Flint, Michigan, was $20 million from Federal Judge Levy, that you can't come at the city of Flint in this residence to assess. We went bankrupt. Everything that all of the lawsuits is pointing to Flint. So the $20 million protected Flint in this residence. That's the part people misconstrue.
Oh, so what you're saying is, look, man, I disagree with the settlement, but if Flint could bail out just being $20 million on the hook, let's do it to protect Flint, because we're already broke as fuck.
That was the insurance. It wasn't part of, they put it in the pot, but it was an insurance to protect the residents. It wasn't nothing to do. I'm not satisfied 0% about no settlement.
But you don't even have a say on the settlement. The judge decides that. Here's what's funny.
Correct.
Here's what's funny. Dana Nessel in the Attorney General's office is defending the state on the civil side, Flint, state of Michigan, right? But her office is also prosecuting the state in the criminal side.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a conflict of interest to me.
What do you make of that, Maurice?
As well.
That's fucking fucked up.
We really pissed.
So
divided the community. Yes.
So y'all basically just stuck between a rock and a hard place because y'all just in the middle. That's just really it.
It's advertised like it's going to be some money when the residents ain't saying nothing from this settlement.
Nothing.
Nothing. And it dropped everybody's property value. A lot of people done died. It's still dying. And it caused a whole lot of pre-existing conditions. So a whole lot of people in this community dying because COVID was the nail in the coffin.
Are you satisfied with the Attorney General throwing out the old charges in the work these people were doing, coming back and refiling them? Do you think they've done a good job here and the justice served by serving the governor with a misdemeanor charge?
Charlie, is you kidding me? They ain't do a damn thing. Nothing. That's just politics as usual. Let me or you had to do something. You've been treated, man, it's just wrong on all levels. It's just a hand slap. It ain't even a slap. It's blatant disrespect. That woman wrong. I'm talking about the actual Attorney General and all that's involved with it. People died. I got a niece laying in a graveyard right now because of this at an age of 30 on a birthday. So I'm highly pissed. It's all propaganda.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Davis, about how much piping has been replaced, would you estimate the percentage of how much of that new piping they supposed to have run through there to replace all those lines? About how much of that's been replaced so far?
They claim they got 500 more units to do, and it's been hundreds of millions of dollars. But the ironic part that pisses me off, this is a highly impoverished community. Some places where they claim they changing pipes, the houses ain't worth $800 if you was to buy them. Why not land bank on all of the property here? Why not move these people into something that you can actually give them a chance or a choice even? Because the money they claim is thousands of dollars per house to change the pipe. And by the way, how much this much pipe gonna fix a whole infrastructure? It ain't gonna do nothing. You can't put a brand new wine in old wine skins. They playing games. The whole capital improvement, everything here in the infrastructure need to be totally changed.
Let me
ran through everything. Put some cyanide in your appliance to see if you want to drink out of the sink. You wouldn't do it.
They never replaced the mains, did they? Oh, shit's bogged out, right?
No, he's good. He's good.
Oh, don't do that. Did you just pot him down?
Well, yeah. I wanted you to ask your question.
He just took your mic off, Maurice. I was like, that's Maurice Davis. You can't shut Maurice up. Maurice,
yes.
Let's just go back real quick on the anniversary and explain to people here. Here's what Flint did this to Flint, right? This didn't.
No emergency manager did.
But let's see if you agree with this. The emergency manager okayed switching from the Detroit River to the Flint River while Flint and Genesee County built a new water system. It was sold to the emergency manager as a good idea by all the people in Flint, the engineers, the the unions, the government. This was in the plans for years, right?
Yes.
The bean counters from Lansing liked it because, hey, we can save, about $20 million a year buying Detroit's water. We can start paying the police with it, fixing the streets and the street lights. Then we got money left over to do this new water system. Price will never go down. And in the meantime, to pay the bills until it's ready, we're just going to drink from the Flint River, and they never fixed the old-ass water plant to treat it.
That was a water heist. They played the residents. They know damn well Flint was selling water to everything around here. And they took the system and gave it to the county. The county guy, Jeff Wright, took it. It was a water is liquid gold. And they took it because we was the one servicing everybody, General Motors and everything. Now we buying water. It's not right. It's not right. They played on poor folks with weak governance.
So basically, you went from
this, at the time, I wasn't there, but they was weak, and they went along with their plan.
So basically, you went from making $1 off the bottle to having to purchase the bottle. Who got all the money?
The county. The county got the system now, and now we're doing a secondary to the county. It's planned. They played. I think it started up toward Pontiac. That's where the Gleewood did. It's all conspiracy against poor folks. And at the end of the day, now people can't pay. Our water was dirt cheap years ago. But now we got the highest water just about in the country. And now to the place people can't pay their water bills.
And they still...
We got a catastrophic problem on our hands.
And look, maybe you don't care about Flint out there, but if you live in Michigan, you're paying for it. If you live in the Great Lakes Water Authority, southeastern Michigan, you're paying for Flint's water. Flint's actually paying for their water, right?
Yes.
But we're giving them the water so they can pay the bond, so they can pay the money that they borrowed for the new system that they don't even fucking use.
Correct.
Huge hustle. One more time. Flint wanted to be in a water system where they charge the same rate, right? It's much cheaper, and then they could use that money to fund themselves. In the meantime, in order to pay the loan, because remember, when you buy a house, you immediately got to start paying your mortgage. They didn't have any money to pay the mortgage for this new system that wasn't ready. So where do you get it? You go to the Flint River, where it's a dime on the dollar. 1 gallon of Detroit water, let's call it $1. It now costs 10 cents. You take the 90 cents and you pay the loan. But the water treatment plant that had been mothballed for a half a century wasn't ready or prepared to do it. They knew it, and they crossed their fingers. It was all a money hustle. It's all it was. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, and Charlie, and you go a little deeper than that, even with the settlement, the governor, the $600 million, they got to take out a bond on that. And guess what? The state of Michigan going to pay higher taxes as well as the residents here to pay back. So we're really suing ourselves at the end of the day.
So I now got to pay for the Flint settlement, not only Flint's water, but the
bond.
Not only that,
$600 million.
Yeah, the $400 million left over for the kids, meaning we gave them a used truck. Here's a used truck, kids, and don't bother me anymore.
And don't forget, they charged the residents for the poison water all the way through this, right? Y'all been responsible for a water bill.
Correct.
And how many people died of Legionnaires? 150?
Oh, it's way more than that. What happened is they put it down on the death certificates as pneumonia. To skew the numbers, as they do with the COVID. They skew the numbers. Everything is pneumonia, or respiratory, I should say. Respiratory. And they know they're wrong for that. Poor folks don't have a voice.
So, Maurice, what goes through your head on the anniversary when you see, the video again of them, celebrating turning on the water? Is it anger? Is it embarrassment?
Here's the moment.
Wouldn't try that now.
There's the mayor, right? There's the mayor pressing the button.
Countdown from 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
Okay.
That's it.
That doesn't look like Snyder pressing the button.
No, that's the mayor.
How does that make you feel?
It's sickening. It's very, anybody here, you can't even build a car park General Motors wouldn't even use that to build automotive parts. But yet people here ingesting it. And this is an older community. And ain't no fair treatment. No, I don't care. We can't buy none. But I got a suggestion. I doubt if they do it.
It's infrastructure. Police, water,
public service.
What?
And that's let's note that's what Trump promised. Biden has now promised. That's what the last two presidents before them promised. And it looks like the infrastructure to me just done got worse and worse and worse.
And now they done zoned this out, so they finna take our houses because we zoned over here on the north end as green space years ago. It's all a part of a master plan, and it's working. And people here is on fixed income. They all retired. So all they have to do now, the next thing gonna be the nail in the coffin is raise the taxes, and there go your gentrification as planned.
Now let me do this. The whole organization that put this together, right? The bond attorneys, the contractors, none of them up on any charges. For the deaths, there's some, like the former director of Health and Human Services.
Right.
He's facing some I don't know if
neglect,
manslaughter, right?
Yeah.
But the dudes that put this in motion, the organization, nobody, not somebody set a plan in motion that led to death. Now, the guy that was the bond attorney for not only Flint but Genesee County and this new water authority, right? His name's Dave Masseron. He leaves and he goes to work for Mike Duggan here in Detroit as a chief operating officer.
Right.
Okay, now we got federal investigations into the demolitions that the Fed sent us money for, whether the dirt in there is poison. Stay tuned for that one. And then he leaves and he's got a new job. You know what he's doing now, Maurice?
What are you doing, Charlie?
He's the budget director for Whitmer for the state of Michigan.
Oh, that is correct.
Well,
he's rewarded.
How the fuck is this? And there's shootings night after night in Flint. What's crime doing in Flint?
Oh, crime is astronomical. I heard the officer Ira talking about it. Everybody want a plan. The plan is ain't no money. It's just lawless. And then they weaken the police department with all of this here. People don't want to obey law. You got younger folks never been disciplined like we was when we was younger. So now it's starting to, you start reaping the benefits of it. The new hobby is these great codes, those small AKs, and they buying them up left and right, and they using them all over the nation. So we're in a little trouble.
We're in a lot of
Somebody
trouble.
just got killed here last night, last 16 years old, right up the street. I can show you my pile of bullets from my front door. I showed them to the news a couple of days ago.
What do you mean? What?
Beverly, go get my bullets.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I mean.
Was there a shootout?
No. Everything I got, Charlie, damn, got bullet holes in it. And some reporter called me today about that. I'm one of them council person that don't play. These here is not bullets of mine that I bought at the gun shop. They are spent bullet shells. They come these rounds that's been spent
In front of your house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At least a dozen.
I got a ton.
A ton. So he's picking up
trucks and everything I got out there.
He picking up bullet case shells like Newport cigarette butts.
And they tried to rob me. I had a death threat. So it's high crime here.
Ooh, how big is the police force for Flint?
It's very small and unfunded. We don't have what we have. It's not where you live, it's how you live. And the security of the residents ain't there because it's all about funding. They want the downtown is secure because they got all their funders in place. But as you leave from down there, you kind of own your own. They do donuts with
Sound like Detroit. Sounds exactly like Detroit.
Everything else.
So it sounded to me, last thought here, Maurice, we're going to wind her up, all right? But sounds to me, we're doing an awful lot of arguing about black and white and brown, and we should, because it's a great nation made up of lots of people. Right. But I think green is the biggest color problem in this country.
It is the color problem.
Yes.
This is not the 70s. They can go on with that. You can be anything you want to be in this country. You got black folks, you got your Oprah Winfrey's and everything else. It's all about what I want to accomplish. It's about greed. And it's about greed and corruption.
Is that why you talking like this? Is that why you wouldn't take the job with Newsmax? Newsmax actually offered Maurice a show, a primetime show. Remember, he supported Trump?
Understandably.
Yeah.
Why didn't you take the job?
No. Because, the voter intimidation. Here, Charlie, people, as you can see, I'm passionate because I've been here all my life. But of jealousy and corruption, they want to put a narrative about a Trump. It's not Trump. President Trump, only one I know at the time he was president, he had the resources. People here can't pay their water bill. People here is getting entitlements every week. They have nothing. So I asked Mr. Trump, what about $600 a month? Instead of one little stipend every month until they fix our water. So it'd be a better way of life. People sick and shut in. But they spent it as I was a Republican. I'm a Democrat. And if I'm elected to help people, I don't give a damn where it comes from, Republican, Democrat, or independent. But because I am not conforming to what they want me to be, they tried to sing a narrative. But let me tell you something. I can't sustain myself. I'm a musician. I do sit here 7 days a week. But people now is losing everything. They don't have nothing. And the water bill, I don't know about in Detroit, but it's tied to your taxes. And if you can't pay your water bill, how in the hell you going to catch up with your delinquent water bill, and they're going to end up taking your house for taxes. And everything over here, we have a book of at least 18 to 2,000 people every year that's foreclosure.
So I think I got the answer. You didn't say it, but it's like if you go on their right-wing news station, they don't know who the fuck you are, and by the end of it, they're not gonna be liking what you said.
Right.
No, I ain't the one for that. See, I cussed the report out earlier. I don't do that. I'm just like you, Charlie. No bullshit. And they give me on my language, but I am a resident before I am any kind of politician.
Right.
Because they believe me. They elected me to help them. And I feel I ain't did my job unless I help people. And that's just how I am.
We're going to leave it at that. See, everybody, just for a minute, look at the great people of Flint. Our brother.
Yes.
We're in this together. We got to do something. Maurice, I love you, dude. Thank you for being on.
Love you more, Charlie. I appreciate y'all so much.
And your show, give them the name of the show where they can check it out. It's a good one.
Yes, it is.
With Beverly Mike size 7 days a week, even tonight, 7 p.m.
Say it again because
Facebook.
it distorted out. Say it again.
Maurice Davis Blues News with Beverly Mike size 7 p.m. nightly. Right here on Facebook.
Yeah, all things Flint. And, they do national, international to comment on that, but to tell you what's going on the inside.
I've checked the show out, and I'm going to tell you, I enjoy it.
It's a great show.
Yes, it is. It really is. And he be jamming on there.
Yeah, really jamming.
Yes.
And Beverly's so sweet. She's on the side there just swaying. Did Beverly used to be like the backup singer for you?
She is a singing organ player. She played B3.
Right on. All right, brother.
Appreciate y'all.
Have a good one.
Appreciate you back, brother.
Bye-bye.
I feel like the speech should always be underneath him whenever he's talking.
Alliance Association. So what did we learn today?
In my opinion, we learned these economics have got to change.
Yep.
It's got to change. It's been too one-sided for too long. Frustration is rising to the top. And the ones that's been on the short end of the stick is acting out the best way they know how. And that's through anger, action, which might not always be the best, but they acting out. People that's broke and got issues, they gonna be more upset.
I agree. I mean, I've been writing this for 2 decades now because I come from here. You could see it. We are the center of the world.
Yes.
Right here. If this is what happened to the industrial might, what you think was going to happen?
Right. Detroit was the start off. When it happened here, Flint, Michigan, the industrial state that we are.
That's our brother over. That's our sisters over.
Right.
That's part of Detroit.
Yeah.
Michigan.
When it started happening, that was telling the rest of the country what was coming, and I don't think people was really paying attention, but they are now.
Yeah, they're paying attention, so watch us. And hopefully,
It's only 45 seconds, man.
Look at Mark.
We're gonna have
only
to loot
45
that.
seconds.
We're gonna have to loot that for Charlie.
Mark's all of a sudden directing.
I don't know what to tell
Show's
you.
over. Here's the deal. They're gonna watch us. We got to dig out of this. And best way to do it is try to get along, try to love one another, try to see each other's point of view. But nobody wants to live like this.
That's real talk.
Peace.